everyone, greetings from PMG Engineering. I am Disha Sinha and in today's module I will discuss in detail about some common occurring naturally toxins that can pose risks to consumers' health such as glycoalkaloids, cyanogenic glycosides, saponins, furocomarines and pyrrolizidine alkaloids. For each category, I will discuss about its structure, location of formation, then their mode of action, adverse effects, and will also discuss how can we prevent toxicity associated with these naturally occurring toxins. So let us now begin with the first class of natural toxins, that is glycoalkaloids. Basically, glycoalkaloids consist of a steroidal alkaloid which are coupled to one or more monosaccharides. They can be classified into three types, that is solanine, chaconine and tomatin. Solanine and chaconine are natural pesticides and are present in vegetables like potatoes and eggplant, while on the other hand, tomatin is natural fungicide present in tomatoes. They are formed in the parenchyma cells of the periderm and the cortex of the tubers. These chemicals are toxic to insects and animals and serve to protect the plant from predators. They are normally present in all potato tubers in a small amount, but they are present in high quantity in the skin of the potato and also in the area of high metabolic activities such as the eye region and sprouted green part of potatoes. They are also produced in the leaves, flowers, roots of the plant. When we talk about the structure of glycoalkaloids, it mainly consists of two structural components, that is an aglycone structure which is based on C27 cholesterol skeleton with an additional nitrogen containing rings that impart basicity to the structure. While on the other hand, a second component of this glycoalkaloid is oligosaccharide moiety, which imparts amphibitic nature to glycoalkaloids. Talking about its mode of action, it produces toxicity in human bodies by two ways. Firstly, it disrupts the cell membranes, which causes interference with bilayer structure, including dendrimers, chitosan, and membrane-active lytic peptides. Secondly, it also acts as a neurotoxic as it disturbs the message transmission between nerves. FDA considers the maximum acceptable glycoalkaloid content to be in between 20 to 25 mg per 100 grams in fresh potatoes. Symptoms of glycoalkaloid toxicity in humans include drowsiness, itchiness in the neck region, increased sensitivity, labored breathing and gastrointestinal symptoms. Preventive methods for avoiding glycoalkaloid toxicity includes number 1. Always remove peel from potatoes before using it. Avoid using sprouted potatoes and green tomatoes. Number 3. Always store potatoes in cool, dark and dry place. And lastly, avoid storing potatoes in refrigerators. Second category of naturally occurring toxins is cyanogenic glycosides. It is present in at least 2000 plant species and are named as phytotoxins. They are amino acid derived constituents of plants which are secreted as secondary metabolites. There are approximately 25 known cyanogenic glycosides and such as prussic acid. They are found in leaves, cherry, apple and in pits of peach, oak moss and other plant tissues. It is formed when cyanogenic glycosides react with damaged tissue and comes into contact with beta glycosidase enzymes. Then this enzyme enacts on it and leads to the release of cyanide, and in turn the cyanide prevents the body cells from utilizing oxygen, resulting cellular necrosis and tissue damage. The acute lethal dose of hydrogen cyanide for human is reported to be in the range of between 0.5 to 3.5 mg per kg body weight. Clinical signs of prussic acid associated poisoning include rapid breathing, trembling, incoordination, and in extreme cases it can cause cardiac arrest also. Next category of natural occurring toxin is saponins. Saponins are water-soluble plant constituents which have ability of forming soapy foam even at low concentrations. Talking about its structure, they are basically glycosides with a non-sugar aglycone portion which is termed as sapogenin. Saponins are distinguished by their bitter taste and the ability to hemolyze red blood cells. Saponins are widely distributed in the plant kingdom and can occur in all parts of the plants, although the concentration is affected by variety and the stage of growth. They are found in soya beans, sugar beets, peanuts, spinach, asparagus, broccoli, potatoes, apples, eggplant, alfalfa and ginseng roots. Their mode of actions include they are capable of disrupting red blood cells and thus causing diarrhea and vomiting. Their toxic effects are related to the reduction of surface tension. Saponins are generally harmless to mammals and other warm-blooded animals except when they are consumed in large doses. The body is able to detoxify when saponins are consumed in small amount since intestinal microflora can destroy them and blood plasma can inhibit their action. However, in large quantities, they can be irritating to the gastrointestinal tract causing vomiting and diarrhea. Let us now move on to our next category which is lectins. Lectins, which are also known as phytohemagglutinins, are proteins or glycoproteins of non-immune origin which have multiple highly specific carbohydrate binding sites. They were originally identified in the castor beans but now are known to be widespread in various plant kingdoms including grain products also. Lectins are particularly concentrated in legume seeds and have been shown to cause gastroenteritis, nausea and diarrhea in humans. Many types of beans contain lectins including green beans, red kidney beans and white kidney beans. Talking about its mode of action, lectins can reversibly bind to carbohydrates without altering their covalent structure. Lectins are commonly called as hemagglutinins as they have ability to bind and agglutinate red blood cells. Lectins can also bind avidly to mucosal cells and interfere with nutrient absorptions from the intestine. Because of this ability, lectin causes intestinal malabsorption and leads to toxicity as it favors the growth of disease-causing bacteria in gastrointestinal tract. Symptoms of lectins-associated toxicity include nausea, vomiting or diarrhea. Lectin-based toxicity can be avoided if legumes are soaked for at least 12 hours and then boiled vigorously for at least 10 minutes in water. Let us now move on to our next category of naturally occurring toxins, which is furocomerins. Furocomerins represents a family of natural food constituents with phototoxic and photomutagenic properties. They are mainly found in plants belonging to Rutaceae and Umbelliferae families. They are produced in response to stress to aid plants in defense against viruses, bacteria, fungi, insects and animals, and are regarded as natural pesticides. Their concentrations may also increase after exposure to UV radiations, changes in temperature, prolonged storage, or treatment with hypochlorite or copper sulfate. Talking about its mode of action, in the presence of UV light having intensity around 320 to 380 nanometer, linear furocomerins can form adducts with DNA causing DNA cross-linkages. As a consequence, photoadhesions in cell occurs leading to cell death, mutations and various chromosome aberrations. While on the other hand, in the presence of ultraviolet A radiation, it reacts to form skin tumors. Estimated dietary intake of furocomerins for people eating furocomerin containing food is around 1.31 mg per day. Let us now move on to our next category of naturally occurring toxins, which are known as pyrrolizidine alkaloids. These are toxins produced by around 600 plant species. They contain unsaturated niacin rings that are considered to be hepatotoxic, mutagenic, teratogenic, and even carcinogenic in nature. The pyrrolizidine structure is based on two fused 5-membered ring that shares a bridgehead nitrogen atom forming a tertiary alkaloid. The rings contain a hydroxymethylene group at C1 position and a hydroxyl group at the C7 position, forming a niacin base. Talking about its toxicity, it is thought to be due to the enzymatic conversion of pyrrolizidine alkaloids to pyrroles, which acts as an alkylating agent. Pyrroles formed in the livers can travel to the lungs, causing thickening of the pulmonary vasculature and pulmonary hypertension. Now with this, we came to the end of this module. If you find this module useful, then request you to kindly share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you and have a great day.